Paula Elizabeth Yates, the 24th of April 1959 to the 17th of September 2000, was a British television presenter and writer. Yates is best known for her work on two television programs, The Tube and The Big Breakfast. She was the girlfriend of musician Bob Geldof from 1976 to 1986 and was married to him from 1986 to 1996. She was also in a relationship with musician Michael Hutchence from the mid-1990s until Hutchence's death in 1997. Yates died of a heroin overdose in 2000. Early life. Born on 24 April 1959 in Colwyn Bay, Wales, to English parents, Yates was brought up in a show business family. Her mother was Elaine Smith, a former showgirl actress and writer of erotic novels from Blackpool, who used the stage name Hella Toran. Up until 1997, Yates believed her biological father to be Jess Yates, who hosted the ITV religious program Stars on Sunday. Jess Yates and Elaine Smith were married from 1958 to 1975. Jess Yates was 19 years older than his wife, and their marriage was unconventional. Yates described her childhood as lonely and isolated. Her mother, she claimed, was absent for much of her upbringing. She attended a village primary school, Penrose College, and Ysgol Aberconwy. The Yates family ran the Deganwy Castle Hotel for a time, before moving to a house near Conwy. After the breakup of her parents' marriage in 1975, Yates lived mostly with her mother despite having a closer relationship with her father, and also had periods in Malta and Mallorca where she was a pupil at Belvoir International College, before returning to Britain. Career. In 1979, Yates began her career as a music journalist with a column called Natural Blonde in the Record Mirror. Shortly after posing for Penthouse magazine, she first came to prominence in the 1980s as co-presenter with Jules Holland of the Channel 4 pop music program The Tube. She also appeared alongside her friend Jennifer Saunders in 1987 for a spoof, mockumentary, on Bananarama. In 1982, she released a version of the Nancy Sinatra hit song, These Boots Are Made for Walkin'. After the birth of her daughters, Yates wrote 2 books on motherhood. Yates continued with her rock journalism. In addition to being presenter of the cutting-edge music show The Tube, she became most notorious for her on the bed interviews on the show The Big Breakfast, produced by her husband, Bob Geldof. Personal life. Yates met Geldof in the early days of the Boomtown Rats. They began a romantic relationship in 1976 when she flew to Paris to surprise him while the band was playing there. Their first daughter, Fifi Trixabel, was born on 31 March 1983. Named Fifi after Geldof's aunt Fifi, and Trixabel because Yates wanted a bell in the family. After 10 years together, Yates and Geldof married on 31 August 1986 in Las Vegas, with Simon Le Bon of Duran Duran acting as best man. The couple then had 2 more daughters, Peaches on 13 March 1989, and Pixie on 17 September 1990. In 1985, Yates met INXS lead singer Michael Hutchence while interviewing him for the Channel 4's rock magazine program The Tube. During this appearance on The Tube, Yates was reportedly asked to leave Hutchence alone by the road manager of INXS when she walked up to him and said, "I'm going to have that boy, Hutchence." Yates was unmoved by the manager's request and began to show up at INXS gigs everywhere for the next few years. even taking her young daughter Fifi along. Yates maintained a regular contact with Hutchence during the intervening 9 years, and their affair had been underway for some months before their big breakfast interview in October 1994. In February 1995, Yates left Geldof, and later that year became pregnant with Hutchence's child. Geldof and Yates divorced in May 1996. On the 22nd of July 1996, Yates gave birth to a daughter, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily Hutchence, known as Tiger. On the 22nd of November 1997, Michael Hutchence was found dead in a hotel room in Sydney. The official verdict into his death said that he committed suicide by hanging. Yates wrote in her police statement that Hutchence was frightened and couldn't stand a minute more without his baby. During their phone conversations on the morning of his suicide, he had said, "I don't know how I'll live without Tiger." Yates also wrote that Geldof had threatened them repeatedly with, "Don't forget, I am above the law." Yates became distraught, refusing to accept the coroner's verdict of suicide and insisting that it was a case of autoerotic asphyxiation. She eventually sought psychiatric treatment. In December 1997, a few weeks after Hutchence's death and while Yates was fighting for custody of Tiger, Yates suffered another blow when a DNA test result confirmed tabloid media reports that Jess Yates, who had died in April 1993, was not Yates's biological father. A paternity test proved that the talent show host Huey Green, who had died 6 months before Hutchence, was her biological father. In June 1998, Geldof won full custody of the couple's 3 daughters after Yates attempted suicide. She met Kingsley Okeke during her stay in treatment, but the pair broke up after a 6-week romance. Okeke later sold his story to a tabloid newspaper. Death. On 17 September 2000. On Pixie's 10th birthday, Yates died at her home in Notting Hill at the age of 41 of a heroin overdose. The coroner ruled that it was not a suicide, but a result of foolish and incautious behavior. Yates was discovered in the presence of her then 4-year-old daughter, Tiger. A friend disclosed during the inquest that Yates had not taken illegal drugs for nearly 2 years. And the coroner, Paul Knapman, concluded that though the amount Yates had taken would not have killed an addict, as an unsophisticated taker of heroin, Yates had no tolerance to the drug. Soon after Yates's death, Geldof assumed foster custody of Tiger Lily so that she could be brought up with her 3 older half-sisters, Fifi, Peaches and Pixie. Her aunt, Tina Hutchence, the sister of Michael Hutchence, was denied permission by the judge to apply for Tiger Lily to live with her in California. In 2007, Geldof adopted Tiger Lily and changed her surname to Geldof. As of 2019, Tiger's legal name is Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily Hutchence Geldof. On 7 April 2014, Yates's second oldest daughter, Peaches, also died of a heroin overdose. Aged 25, 1 day before her death, she uploaded a picture to her Instagram of herself as a young girl and her mother under the caption, "Me and my mum. Books." Paula Yates was the author of several books, including Rock Stars in Their Underpants, 1980, A Tale of Two Kitties, 1983, Blondes, 1983, Sex with Paula Yates, 1986, The Fun Starts Here, 1990, The Fun Don't Stop, Loads of Rip-Roaring Activities for You and Your Toddler, 1991, and The Fun Goes On, A Practical Guide to Playing and Learning with Your Preschool Child. 1991. Village People. 1993. References. Works cited. Agar. Jerry. 2014. Paula. Michael and Bob. Everything You Know Is Wrong. Michael O'Mara Books. ISBN 978-1-78243-315-6. Botzer. Anthony. 2005. In Excess Story to Story. The Official Autobiography. Bantam Books. ISBN 978-0-593-05517-5. Green. Christopher. Clark. Carol. 2003. Huey and Paula. The Tangled Lives of Huey Green and Paula Yates. London. Robson. ISBN 1-86105-609-5. Rojek. Chris. 2001. Celebrity. London. Reaction Books. ISBN 1-86189-104-0. External links. National Portrait Gallery holdings with sitter Paula Yates. Paula Yates at IMDb.